Welcome to Homicide the Podcast. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, Kevin. We are excited to be back. This is our technically third Homotown story episode, but our second one that'll be up. And I'm really excited because we are doing this in a new way where we're going to have people tell their own Homotown story, which I think is exciting. And so, without further ado, let me invite one of my really good fucking friends who I love probably the most in this world outside of Brandon.
That's something big to live up to.
Yeah, that was a bold statement. Anyway,
right?
Maddie, welcome.
Hi, I'm very excited to be here. This is this setup we have right now. This is how I picture every podcast I listen to you guys. Like, I'm just over here making my own commentary as you guys are like talking. Oh my God. Yes.
Love it.
So this is like a dream. This feels very surreal.
And it feels weird to have like someone we know that it's just, we haven't like, it's not like we talk to you all the time. So it's fun being able to bring you in all the way from Colorado and have you here and experience all of this with us.
Well, technically we're all in 3 different states because I'm in New York City right now at our apartment. Brandon's at our house. Well, technically our office in Tampa. And then Maddie is in Colorado, which is lovely technology.
Right.
Yay.
We love that. Maddie, I'm really excited to have you here, but we might as well tell our listeners like who you are, what you do, and how we met and how we know each other. So I don't know. Who are you?
Who am I? I don't actually know that answer. I'm Maddie. I've known Kevin, how long? 15 years?
Maybe more, like 7.
Maybe more.
Yeah. So
around.
We met at the bookstore at Auraria campus in the vault.
In downtown Denver. Yep.
And then we worked at Whole Foods together for like 1 millisecond.
It was not that long. But we did.
You were like,
what was that? You like what?
Oh, I was going to say, you were like, come work with me at Whole Foods. And then I was like, yay, I got the job. And you were like, okay, bye. I'm going to move to New York now. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so Maddie and I met in college, really, when we were both going to Metro. I think you were going to Metro. And got a job in the bookstore. And it was scandalous. There was a lot of drama. But I wasn't really involved in the drama. I just listened to it. Maddie, I don't think you were involved in the drama, although some people tried to get you involved with it.
There was some fighting words.
There were some colorful characters in that.
Yes, there was.
Office. But one of my fondest memories, Maddie, is...
You're going to tell the Candyman story?
I was hoping somebody would bring it up. I actually just wrote a note to remind myself. Nobody does for me too.
Listen, I was obsessed with the song, but also the dance and the video that came out with Christina Aguilera for Candyman. And so there was one day that Maddie and I were working, and it was first off, it was very slow because we all counted very quickly because in the cash office, you were counting all of the tills basically for the day.
Sounds exciting.
It's
such fun work.
But it was fun because we were together. But I don't even remember how it started, but we fucking spent our, 6-hour shift on a weekend, I think.
It was like a Saturday.
Learning the entire fucking dance to Candyman and performing it. In the cash office, which, by the way, had a camera inside of it. So we were filmed, and I don't remember how we figured out that we were filmed, but other than somebody fucking showed us. Somebody showed us, and I was like, oh
my God, I wish you guys had that.
Oh, I wish we had it too.
Because I've gotten to experience like a like 10-year-old version of it.
Oh, at my bachelorette party.
It was so much fun, but it was not to the level of what I... No, it probably.
But Maddie still had some moves. I was like, oh, I remember.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that was right.
But there were chairs involved in that dance where we had to like stand on things and jump down from things. It was dangerous.
It was acrobatic.
Right. God, I would like break a hip at this point trying to do that shit. Like my extra 80 pounds that I have. No, thank you. Anyway, that was such a fond memory and fun, but we've had a lot of fun. God. Over the years, Maddie used to go out to clubs with me and dancing, and we had a little bit of a wild a little slutty phase.
Mm-hmm.
We're quite together. Anyway, yeah, Maddie means a lot to me. She's still my friend and forever will be. So she's a
Yes.
lovely husband and 2 incredible children, and she's just a gem. So
Oh, thanks.
yeah.
I love you too.
Oh, stop it. So anyway, so Maddie is here to tell us her Homotown Murder, which is very interesting because I did read it. So I'm excited for you to kind of give us the inside scoop on your Homotown Murder. So if you're ready.
I'm ready. So in Kevin fashion, I named this Homotown Murder. It's called...
I love it. You did a great job with the title.
This story's called Not All Vegans Are Bad, but this one's a real piece of shit. So I'm gonna I was trying to figure out the best way to do this that I wouldn't completely fuck it up. So I'll read a little bit and then I'll put any kind of personal spin or anything in there.
If you've listened, I fuck it up every single time. Don't even worry that we're not one of those podcasts.
I love it. That's the whole point, is just get on and fuck around and figure it out.
Exactly.
And find out. Okay, so this story takes place back in 2014. So, 10 years ago. I don't know if I should say the name of the who cares?
Well, is it the name of the person? Is it public?
Well, he is. Yes, it's public. So, okay, I just won't say the name of where I'm working.
Okay.
And if you know, you know. But if you don't know, then suck it. Sorry.
She's the first guest we have on our podcast,
right? And just driving away all your listeners.
But it makes sense because we're a gay podcast, so suck it. That really resonates.
Suck it.
It really resonates.
Do it. Okay. So I just transferred from one grocery store to another location down in Highlands Ranch. So I was now working in Highlands Ranch. Gross. It's the worst. But anywho,
Highlands Ranch. Tell where Highlands Ranch is, just in relation to where in Colorado, like Denver and all that.
It's about 25 minutes outside of Denver. It's kind of by Parker. It's
it's south.
Uppity.
Yeah. The rich
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of terrible people.
Lots of white people.
Lots of Trump flags going down there. So, anywho, I had just taken a job as an assistant manager in the bakery department of this grocery store, and I was introduced to a cashier that worked at the Highlands Ranch location. His name was Anthony Milan Ross, and he was a supervisor. Seemed to be a pretty chill dude. I mean, I really didn't speak to him a whole lot. He was a middle-aged guy. He was popular among the other cashiers. He had a wife named Iris and a young son named Nigel.
They have some unique names. What was his middle name?
Anthony Milan Ross. And I think he went by the name of Milan. I vaguely remember that.
Sure. I would have been my name's Milan. Call me Milan. Thank you.
Milan. He's Milan. So, and so his wife and son would come into the store. They knew people. They'd been shopping at the store for a really long time. They had a relationship, anyway. But so I met him, and a couple of years before I'd met him, he had done a retreat through the company, that focused on a vegan plant-based lifestyle for weight loss. And he apparently had lost 300 pounds doing this. So he was the success story of the early days.
Was that fucking Engine 2 diet? Remember that shit that they were
yes.
It was that?
The immersion program or whatever they called it. Yeah, and they shipped you off to Florida for a couple of weeks, and then they told you how to be vegan, and then they sent you back or whatever they did. I don't...
Because Florida is the capital of veganism.
Of healthy eating.
That makes sense, yeah. Send me to Florida. Yeah, all right.
Just go to Florida. It's fine.
Right, yeah.
But because of that, he had written a cookbook and was doing all this motivational speaking and promoting himself as look how much weight I lost. Great, in the buzz of all those crazy diets, Engine 2, vegan, plant-based, all that stuff. Yeah. So he was kind of in the process of doing that when I met him. he was one of those people that like the first time you talk to them, you're like, oh yeah, he's cool. Like he's a nice guy. He's positive. He's happy. And then the second time you talk to him, you're like, and then the third time you talk to him, you're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, I'm just like on the precipice of like being around him was like tipping over the edge. And you didn't know if that was going to be like manic good or like really bad. So he was just one of those people, like my buyer didn't like him. There were a bunch of people on my team who were like, if he would come around, they would just be like, I have to go to the freezer. And they would like leave. And that's kind of the vibe I got from him where I was just like, oh, you're kind of bad vibes. And like he talked about being vegan all the time and like, you know, and that's just always a downer. And
do you have nothing else to do with your life besides being a vegan?
I know. Well, I'm all about that type of lifestyle. We tried it and it ended with me. Well? No, it ended with me crying in front of the hot dogs at a grocery store because I did not do it right and I was super sick.
No.
And I needed to eat something.
Yeah, we did not have enough protein. We weren't getting the nutrients. Like we were bad.
Like I think you had to send me back up to the apartment, right?
Yeah, because he was literally crying in front of hot dogs. We were like, let's just have mac and cheese and hot dogs tonight. Like we're both like shaking and trembling because our bodies don't have enough nutrition.
And I was like, but all the little piggies. Like, it's just,
and he's crying. I'm like, Kevin, just go back upstairs. I will do this. I will cook it. You don't have to look at it. I will.
But we all eat it. I know, but we all know that people who like really dive into that dive the fuck in. Like they are in it. They do not understand.
Well, especially in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like I feel like Colorado is just a whole different type of
vegan
people. Not in a bad way. It's just there's extremisms, right? Like even from like the extreme sports, outdoor sporting, and all of that. Like the sports teams are intense. Like everything is just intense in Colorado.
That's actually quite true. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
Before Brett and I started dating, I tried to date a vegan straight edge guy for like a whole month, and it just didn't. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was terrible. My drinking and chain smoking really was like, yeah, straight edge vegan is gonna work for me. Like this is the one, and it.
Nope.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Are you gonna quit smoking? Absolutely. Right. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah. But he would just do that thing where he just like talked about like I get it. Like I totally get it. There's nothing wrong with being vegan. But I don't want to feel bad because I put 2% milk in my latte.
When he made you feel bad for doing that, was he like, "That's not almond"? Like what?
It wasn't like, it was that thing where it's like, you know, the properties of almond milk are much better, but it was also like very like scary where you're like, am I gonna get hurt if I don't drink the almond milk? Like, I just want to live my life. And he was like super positive about everything. Like, I don't know, maybe you'll die, maybe you won't, but it's okay. And you're like, oh, okay.
Or he's like, I guess you're having the 2% milk today.
It's like, you should be drinking the fat-free because, and I'd be like.
And listen, just because you're vegan or vegetarian doesn't mean that you're skinny, bitch, because if you're not eating right and you're eating all that sugar, that ain't gonna work. So.
Right.
I ate a lot of French fries when I was vegan because they're just potatoes. So
this works.
That's vegan. It's fine. It's a potato.
Anyway,
we're not, it is.
If you're vegan, we don't judge you. Like, do your thing.
I love you.
We just want to make fun of you for a minute. That's all.
This guy is a dick. Normal vegans aren't. This guy's just a dick. So I just kind of tried to avoid him. I just avoided him, and he didn't work at my store very long. He transferred to the Cherry Creek store for a little bit, but then decided to pursue his like, motivational speaking and like weight loss and like cookbook and all that stuff. So
cool. Yeah.
He picks his family up. He moves them to Phoenix, Arizona, right? End of Maddie knowing this person. Moving on, life goes on. I moved to a couple different stores. I end up back at Highlands Ranch 3 years later after the birth of Emily, my first kid. And I'm working as a cake decorator, and it's, I don't know, the day after Christmas. That could have been, so it's either the day after Christmas or the next day. And I'm just like wandering around the hallways and not doing my job. And I come across like this clique of people who are all talking, and I don't know if you've ever worked with me. Like, I don't I don't put on a great face. Like I don't have a great talk to me face at work. I have a very like
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I'll punch you.
Like I'm at work. I need to get shit done. No pleasantries. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
So I'm like
I don't
not looking or talking to anyone, but I hear this group of people and they're talking. And of course I hear somebody say something about murdered or killed. And I'm like, hey,
right.
I'm ready to be friends now. Can I just,
You said the magic words.
Oh, you said murder? Let's talk.
Oh, who's dead? Oh, let's talk about it. Okay, great. So I did. I literally was like, oh, I vaguely know you. I've talked to you once. Let me just push on in here and tell me the story. So I did. And so this is the story that was told to me. And I did put this like little disclaimer in my thing where I was like, even as I was writing this, trying to like dial in events that happened, there were discrepancies. So I'm going to tell the story the way that it was told to me. And we'll go from there. So apparently, after the Ross family moved from Colorado to Phoenix, they were just living life. In February of 2017, they welcomed a baby girl into their family. Her name is Honora, or was Honora. But shortly after she was born, the couple decided to, spoiler alert, shit's getting fucked.
Did you hear that little gem was?
I caught that little.
I did as well.
Poor. So shortly after she's born, they decide to get divorced, right? And so they separate and they move on with their life. So later that year, he has the two children for Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. So he's got them for Christmas Eve. He's got them for Christmas morning. Christmas morning.
And this is when they're in Phoenix, right?
They're in Phoenix.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So Christmas morning, Iris comes to the apartment to pick up her kids. And he, again, trigger warning, like, not great. There's murder podcast. Murder's going to happen. So he leaves the kids inside and he goes outside into the parking lot and he shoots Iris in the parking lot and kills her. She's 38. Just Christmas morning. People are opening their presents and drinking their coffee and he is shooting his estranged wife in the parking lot.
Oh, fuck you. Now his name is Anthony. Fuck that.
Yeah, right? Milan's too good.
You're not cool enough to be Milan.
He looks like an Anthony.
He does. Oh, that picture is a jump scare for sure. Like,
sure. You have to send it to us because we definitely need to use that shit. Oh, wait,
yes. Oh, it's in the bottom of of my PDF or whatever I sent you.
Fantastic.
So this is where stuff like starts getting like the neighbors. Obviously, it's Christmas morning. People are like not expecting gunshots, so they call the police immediately. And he goes back into his apartment and barricades himself inside. And so then shit gets weird. So
Iris is just like dead in the parking lot.
She's dead in the parking lot.
Oh my god!
And nothing. He just left her.
He just left her.
What
There was a rumor that he took her phone and text members of her family. He did text her sister from his own phone, telling her, I did find that in an article while I was researching this, telling her that he had killed Iris.
What a dick.
What a fucking crazy person.
Texting
Christmas morning. You're like, oh, my sister's texting me. No.
I just got and killed.
Merry Christmas. Oh, just kidding. It's her fucking crazy husband that's still me. This is fucked up already.
Right.
Yeah. Buckle up. Buckle up, Buttercup. This is going to get worse. So obviously police are called. They come. There's this big police standoff. It lasts for 4 hours. At the end of the standoff, he shoots at an officer. I don't know if he like actually like made contact, but one of his charges is, like attempted firing on an officer or something like that. So anywho, after a brief shootout, he's taken into custody unharmed because, dickbags like this are always taken into custody unharmed.
Right.
When the police finally go into the apartment that he had been barricaded in, they found the bodies of 11-year-old Nigel and 10-month-old Honora. He had shot and killed both of his children. Right? The time, like, I don't know if it was before he ever went out and shot Iris. I don't know if it was after. There were rumors and gossip that he was telling the police that they were alive like he wasn't going to hurt the children. He was, but that was never, I don't think ever his intention. I think his.
Well, I think that they probably would have reported if there were gunshots that weren't directed at them, but I mean,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I didn't look into like, I didn't go too deep into trying to find out when like babies were murdered.
yeah.
But he definitely, like, that was his plan all along. There was, I don't know if his Facebook got taken down, but there was this super creepy video that he had posted Christmas Eve with his son singing Christmas carols.
Oh my god!
And he posted it to his Facebook. So that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, he has never given a reason as to why he killed his whole family. The reports ever, not that I saw, like, just unhinged. Yeah. Apparently.
Apparently what?
Oh, apparently he was like getting more and more erratic and aggressive with Iris before this happened, like threatening her and just being a dick.
Did she go to the cops at all for like restraining order or anything to like try to navigate?
I don't think so.
His threats?
There was one article I read that was like, she was such a sweet person that she was just like, this is difficult. Like, he's going through something, like, we're ending our marriage, we're ending our family. Like, he's got to work it out. Like, she's just a sweet person and just thought the best of everybody and had no, idea that he was going to snap like this or anything like that. So yeah, it was pretty, like, the store was pretty rattled. Like I said, there were a lot of people, a lot of team members in the store who knew Iris and knew Nigel, and some who had continued to be friends and text and have phone calls with this family after they left Colorado. And so it was like lots of people went home that day because it was just once it came out.
Was he employed? Did he go back to the grocery store, or did he never go back?
I don't believe he ever went back.
Okay.
I do know that, like, his cookbook was pulled right out of there.
I'd have pulled that shit too.
Right?
Like, that bad marketing is bad PR.
You're selling. Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. And it was for me, like, I think about this all the time because Emily was 10 months old.
Wow.
Like, that baby Honora,
when they died,
when this all went down. So his baby Honora was born the same month Emily was that year. So it's like, I have a 10-month-old kid.
Yeah.
She was a 10-month-old kid. Like, to me, it's crazy to be like sometimes I'll just be sitting and I'll be like, oh my God, she'd be almost 7. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks. That sucks because her dad was unhinged.
Yeah. Well, and
he's innocent. The children are innocent. If you want to do what you have, if you feel like you need to do that, I mean, I hope you don't. But the kids don't. They have no part. And even if like he was having issues, well, you were saying he was having issues with the mother. So like it's just like some people kill their children because they're frustrated because they are acting up too much or they're out of line or something like that, right? So it's like what's the point? What is a reason? I don't understand. It's so hard to understand why somebody would feel like they needed to kill somebody, especially even 10 months old. Like
especially a parent,
barely even gotten to do, like they're not barely crawling at 10 months, are they?
I think they're crawling at 10 months, right?
Are they walking? I don't know. I don't have children.
They don't have children.
Yeah, I mean, I think by about a year they're walking or so. But yeah, like,
well, maybe she wasn't walking yet.
She was crawling. But like, that's the thing is, it's like, it's Christmas morning. Like, these kids spent Christmas Eve with their dad, who they probably was like, this is my dad. They love him.
And then it was like, bye. I mean,
and then he was.
And were they in an apartment complex? See, that's fucked up. And this is why, because all of those families, he didn't only kill his family, he impacted every single fucking person in that apartment complex. And like, he cares, I'm sure, but your single-handed action impacted far more than the people that you murdered, right? You've impacted several people for the rest of their life. And the extension goes past that to people that knew you. It's just like, I will never understand why people murder. But I definitely don't understand when parents, if there's no, and it's not even understandable if somebody has like, postmortem. What the fuck?
Postpartum depression.
Jesus Christ. Why am I not? I keep wanting to say
Postpartum.
Thank you very much. Wow.
It's a hard one.
Anyway, all of that kind of stuff. I guess I could wrap my head around being like, wow, they were very unwell and they didn't get, whatever. There's still no excuse, but I could be like, okay, I could understand how a person, I guess, could go into a state of like psychosis and perhaps murder their kids because of whatever. But for this, I don't know if there were signs of that, but this seems slightly calculated, right? To walk out and meet her in the parking lot and just shoot her dead. I mean, it's crazy because think about me or Brandon or you and Brett. I just could never. Even my ex, I don't hate him at all. I wouldn't. I just would never. I don't know. It's so bizarre to me.
I 100% believe that it was like premeditated. Like,
For sure.
I 100% believe that he was like, this is what I'm going to do. And he picked that day and he made all the plans. And that may be correct and it may not be, but like.
But it seems like it.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
But then even to barricade yourself after you did that into the house with your children and then do what you did and still stay barricaded. It's just.
Like, what did he expect? I mean.
I also just, the whole thing with family annihilators like this is it's like, they're like, oh, I had to kill my family. And it's like, and then they're like, don't shoot,
I'm literally
don't
like,
hurt me.
Take yourself out. All good.
Yeah.
Leave them. You do you. Goodbye. Which is not, I'm not advocating for suicide because clearly my best friend died by it. But in those cases, it's like, you don't hurt other people. Just do yourself and goodbye.
And why can't you just leave? Like, if you don't want to deal with your estranged ex-wife, if you don't want to deal with your children, like, just leave. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I agree, but I do think that kind of jumping back to when you said that you met him, this is why you have to listen to yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that there's oftentimes when you meet people and you're like, ooh, and then you try again, right? And then you're like, oh God, listen to yourself. I think that there are, like, I've met some people, just being back in New York where I'm like, you seem interesting. And it's like, goodbye. And that's the thing is that I think that, especially now in our weird political environment where we're probably going to have a civil war or some shit, whatever the fuck is happening, listen to people, believe them, believe what they say. That's why when people are like, Trump, and I'm like, okay, we can have a civilized conversation about why. Cool. Like we have good friends that actually are Trump supporters and I can talk to them and I'm like, I totally disagree with you, but I understand how you're brainwashed by it, but they're not the type that's going to murder me. Right. Like these weird MAGA people. I mean, you never know when people are in desperate situations who they become. But they're not that. Right. But there are some people where you're like, bye. Right. Like
your energy is just way off.
Their energy, the way that they talk, the way that they say stuff, the way that they react. You're like,
I was trying to think of a good way to describe it when I was thinking about this the other day. And I'm like, when you're around an unfamiliar dog and they're like given that vibe where you're like, they're either going to like go into the zoomies or they're going to bite me. Like, my dog does that to me all the time where I'm like, what's happening? Like, are you going to like freak out or are you going to like just zoom me around the couch? Like what's going on? And that was kind of how it was where you like just standing there and you're like, I'm not sure if you're going to like get really excited and like Tom Cruise jump on a couch or if you're going to like snap and throw 2% milk, like a jug of 2% milk at me. Like I'm unsure. And that is not a safe place to be. Like if you can't read where a person's leaning towards, your primal instinct is like, get away from this person.
Well, and I think that people, for the most part, actually show you who they are fairly quickly. Oh, yeah. But I think that we as humans often put up these blinders because I think that we put trust that people are better than they are. And I think for the most part, humans kind of suck, like in general, right? There's just with the deep,
I don't disagree,
misogyny and racism and just, it's horrible. And so I think that I am a very interesting person. It's probably because I grew up in foster care that I am pretty blocked off to love initially, right? I'm very, very, very much outgoing and like, hello, you know, whatever, but I don't get deep for a while. And it's interesting because even in our business, we've hired some people where in an interview and I'm like, mm-mm. And everyone else is like, yeah, yes, yes. And then they turn out to be shite. Right. And I'm like, oh, I should have listened to myself. And so, and those are the interesting things though, because I think that ultimately this Anthony guy, he is Anthony now because Milan is way too cute for him. But with Anthony, I think that he was fucking crazy. And I think that you got that vibe because you were like, something's off here. And I legitimately think that people, no matter what, we won't understand why they do what they do and why they murder people, but we understand that something was right. And so you obviously got that's holy fuck. Which is okay. Here's a little, I'm not going to say what the company is either, but I also used to work there until I walked. And I'm very proud that I walked out. But anyway, I was at the location near my apartment on the Upper West Side. And Brian, I haven't even gotten to tell you this yet, but I went over to the meat counter because I was looking at salmon, and then I was like, maybe I'll do a little chicken breast moment. And then I was like, well, I'll get some bacon. I don't know. And so when I'm looking, this guy comes up and he's like,
salmon, chicken breast, bacon.
I know, it's weird. And I was like, do I get turkey?
I'm in.
Do I get regular bacon? Anyway, it was the whole moment. I was there for far too long. This guy walks up to me and he was like, hey, can I help you? And I was like, no, I'm just gonna get bacon. And he was like, you look very familiar. And I was like, well, I used to work here. And he was like, you used to work at this location at this other side of town. I was like, I did. And he's like, I still follow you on Instagram. And I was like, oh. And he goes, are you still doing the candles? Are you still making the candles? And I'm like, oh, that was a while ago.
A long time ago.
And I was like, no, I opened up an agency and now here.
You like, but you can check out Homicide the podcast.
I didn't. Should have done that. But it was how great it was. He reached over the counter, like he took off his like meat glove. Thank you. Reached over the counter and like shook my hand, and he was like, "It's so good to see you." And it's funny because some of my best relationships, Kelda, Aaron, right? Not the other one, but you know, some great people. Anyway, those relationships have really stuck like deeply. And I met some really incredible people back in the day with that company before it changed.
100%.
And this guy was an example. Do I remember his name? I don't, which is unfortunate because I'm not very good with names. But it was lovely to like walk into that environment and be like, holy shit, that was kind of cool. Those are the good people. That Anthony's a fucker, clearly.
Oh yeah,
right?
For sure. He's the worst.
Yeah, don't shake my hand. Thank you.
No. And it was also that thing of like, if you work in retail and you're super positive, super happy all the time, there's something fundamentally broken in your brain. Listen,
and I remember when we worked in the cheese department, and people would walk up and be like, no. Not I would like. They would walk up and they would say, a half pound of Chipotle chicken. And I'd be like, please? And I would turn around and I'd put that fucking meat on that slicer and I would be like, I hate fucking like, no. It was not for me. But also, if you're just like, yeah, no, something's wrong. Because that's not enjoyable. Who loves slicing deli meat? No.
And you can like your job, like
sure.
But the team members are who you're like you have your customer voice for. Yep. So you're like, I would absolutely love to grab that cake for you out of the case, and then you turn around and you're like, I hate this person.
See, there was
I'm gonna fucking punch this bitch.
I know. I was not good at it. I was not good at being like, oh, you want a quarter pound of okay, yeah. No, I'd be like, I'm sorry, what was that? And they would be like, well, you know, a quarter pound of Chipotle chicken. And I would be like, please.
Right.
Like I was, I didn't.
It's like when we worked at the, our friend's restaurant together and Kevin was a waiter and somebody asked him for ranch and he's like, they didn't ask. They said, I need ranch. And he's like, oh, do you need ranch? Or do you want ranch?
I lasted 2 months. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh, do you need it or do you want it? And they were like, want?
Like, do you need this to live? I don't think so.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not a really good, which is funny because I'm an actor. I'm not a good person.
Period.
There it is. Full stop.
And
I'm not a good retail customer service person because I can't really fake it. So if people are rude, my rudeness snaps and I win. Like I can't do it. And that is why I don't.
Oh, I'm really good at it. I'm really good at pretending to like, oh, I would love to do that for you. And then I like go in the back and I'm like, don't do that for them at all. I would love to do it, but unfortunately the higher ups say we can't. And then I'm like, I'm the higher up. I said we can't. Just
I love that though.
behind your back.
You just stand up on the
that's
steps a little bit higher, being, I'm higher up.
My highlight, the highlight of my career was when I was the manager of the bakery department at another location. And I was also the acting store manager, acting store shifty, right? Yeah. And this woman came in and she was so mad about something and she wanted to talk to the bakery manager. And I was like, hello, it's me. I'm the only one here. And we kind of got into it a little bit where I was just like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. Like, that's not our policy. I don't care. And then she walked around to the customer service desk and asked to speak to the store manager. And just from like 15 feet away, my phone rings and I just answer it. And I'm like, hello. And they're like, can we have the shifty, like the store manager? And I just walked right over and I was like, what can I do for you? And she was like, you're the bakery manager. And I was like, and tonight I'm also the store manager. So that's me stepping up on the step. I've been chasing that high ever since. I've never hit it again. Just
I love that because it's like, this is as high as you're going to go, bitch.
Right.
So.
Like, do you want me to take your number down, pass it off to somebody else in the morning? Because I'm going to throw it in the trash on my way out the door. Like, I own you. I control everything right now.
That's right. And here's the thing too. I don't fuck with people who work in roles like that, right? Because I've been there. But it's also because they have so much leverage to fuck with you that I just don't do it, right? I'm so afraid of food in general and food prep. Just ask Brandon, like terrified of food prep. Like we get in an argument every holiday because of it. Poor thing.
It happened once.
No, I'm giving. Here I am giving him the grace to say I'm crazy, and he's
but
like,
"You're not." I mean, you're not crazy, but
thank you.
You do have issues touching, looking at raw chicken or any kind of any
raw meat. I'm like, ew, handle that. I took food prep classes and food. It's actually really annoying. This Christmas, Brandon and I got into it. We don't fight, but like we got into a little mini whatever. Maybe it's a little bit more elevated than medium, because Brandon he had put Brussels sprouts in the kitchen sink, but was messing with chicken juice next to
salmon.
And like, salmon, and I'm like,
but I'm like very organized.
Not good. Anyway, so we had this whole thing, and I was like, I took food prep classes, and I did. It's really embarrassing.
You pull out your Serve Safe certification from 2006.
That was what it was. Serve Safe. I couldn't. Anyway,
this is my certification.
I can't remember why we just talked about that, but that's that. Anyway,
I will say, to go back to your candle company, Brett just ran out of beard oil, and I was like, okay, I'll order you some more off Amazon. And he was like, well, do Brandon and Kevin still have the beard oil? And I was like, oh, honey, no.
I wish we did too, because it was
2 beards in a Boston.
I know. Yeah, we should bring that back.
Who don't know, Kevin and I used to have our own candle line and beard care line that we would sell at craft shows in South Florida and Denver, and it was really fun. Eventually, we'll bring it back.
We should bring it back. We used like all organic and sustainably sourced products, and it was, I don't know. I tested it on myself, which was, I think, probably the best thing because, man, my beard was luscious. Now she's gray, but back in the day, it was like black and full and gorgeous, and people would rub it, which was really.
Yeah, there was a lot of people would want to touch it.
Do you remember that time in Target?
Yeah.
There was this.
Have we talked about that on the podcast yet?
I don't think so. Tell it.
I don't think we have either.
Tell it, Brandon.
Okay, so one time we were in Target, and when you're in there's times where we just know something's about to happen, and we were in the, I don't know, deodorant section where we were by the candles. We were smelling things.
I think I had to get deodorant. I think that we went over to the deodorant section because I needed deodorant.
Yeah, and you could hear a couple aisles over, somebody was loudly talking to somebody else, but it was one of those where you're like, oh, I hope that person doesn't come over here because I know they're going to talk to us. Like, I just know what's going to happen. And so we're minding our own business, looking at things and whatever. And all of a sudden, this old man comes walking around to the corner into the aisle we were in and starts talking to us. And we're like, of course he's going to start talking to us. But he starts talking about Kevin's beard because at the time it was a little bit longer than it is now. Like, and people would normally bring that up. They would either ask it for twins or want to touch Kevin's beard. It was weird. Yeah.
There's a lot of gray area that they could have landed in there, and they did not.
No. And listen, I don't know why people want to talk to me in general because I do not look approachable. I know that.
No, your resting bitch face is a lot.
It's pretty intense.
Those big eyebrows get people to like turn around. But for him, it invited him in, and so he starts talking about beards and how his wife won't let him grow a beard because it's scratchy and this and that. And it was like a good 5 minutes of talking until he's like, he just goes to Kevin, can I touch your beard? And it was at the time where we were going to a lot of craft shows selling out our product, and Kevin would be very open to be like, yeah, touch my beard, feel it, and see how the product is. He was very open with it. I'm like, why are you letting people touch
pre-COVID.
you? This was way pre-COVID.
Listen, it's so every person that touched it, they were like, oh my God.
And they bought
it. At least he asked and didn't just
He did.
Well, so as he's touching it, he touched it for a very long time, but he was like grabbing it and like tugging it.
He tugged it. He was like, and I'm like,
and so
did he think it was fake?
I don't know. Well, after a second, what did he? I don't even remember what he said.
So after he's like, literally, this is what he's doing. He's like rubbing into my beard, and then he's like tugging a little bit, and I'm like, okay, this is a
hard pass.
Like, I don't even let people come in my beard. Like, I'm not doing it, right?
Well, that's
a mess. So,
like, that's no. It's a gay podcast. Hello, but this guy is like, so he's doing that, and then he goes, oh my God, I gotta stop. I'm getting way too excited. And I, of course, looked right down at his dick, and I'm like, you're getting hard. Like, you're getting a full on hard on. Like, and I'm like, oh my God.
He was old. Like, he had to have been like
80. Like, he had to have been in his
old.
80s. Like, he's probably dead now. It was, and listen, he died enjoying
thinking about that beard. It's on his tombstone.
It was so.
They were like, wait, you're just talking about your wife, and now you're getting excited touching his beard. Like, this is all just a lot right now.
The poor thing. He was probably, because he's older, he's probably closeted and jerks off to
your bearded
dudes. Well, at least
maybe he was mad his wife wouldn't grow a beard.
True. I mean, Maddie, that is a great.
Everybody has a fetish.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he put his hands into your beard up to your mouth, it was more than a beard.
Usually,
it was about more than a beard.
They'd be like, oh yeah. He was like
in it.
Oh my God, and I'm like, my lip's moving. Like, that's if my lip is moving, it's a little aggressive. Yeah, it was. And I didn't know what to do. I was like frozen, which is not normal because I'd be like, get the fuck. But he was. Once I saw his dick, like, I'm like, ah! We gotta go. Yeah.
Now, however, you got an 80-year-old man hard by him touching your beard. Like, that's a compliment,
right?
It's a compliment.
Kevin, you could have
been
a sugar baby.
Fuck.
Right, and then you could
wait. Am I too young? Am I too old now to be a sugar? Baby?
We are too old to be sugar babies now. I've looked into it. Just kidding.
Guys, fuck. How are we in our? God damn it. I used to think when I was younger, I was like, God, 30's so old. I'm never going to be 30. And I'm going to be 40.
It just sneaks up on you.
My youngest will be 5 this year. What? Like, that ages me more than anything. It's like, Emily's going to be 7. And Olive's going to be 5. And now I'm like, how can I have a 7-year-old? I'm 26. Like, God, I was a slut. Or like, I'm like, what happened to me?
You know what, though? I would say this, that we lived in our 20s.
Oh, we had a great time.
Man.
From the stories I've heard, I wish I was there.
Maddie and
I don't know that you do.
I don't. Oh God. Yeah, we were different.
Very. Little sleuts running around.
We were little sleuths, but we would party. I remember living on Poets Row in downtown Denver in Cap Hill and walking to Vinyl, getting so fucked up. You would meet me there, and we would just dance and drink. And I think you would go somewhere else, and then I would stumble home drunk as fuck.
I always went somewhere else. There was always a second location for me.
You always invited me, and I was like, no thanks.
There was always a water bottle full of tequila in my purse somewhere. There
actually was, yes.
Or the bottle of Smirnoff in the car on the way to tracks. Like,
oh God, yeah, we did. We did do that. Yeah. See, I forget about some of this shit.
Oh, I unfortunately remember it all. Sometimes I'm like, God, I used to be fun, and then sometimes I'm like, God, I was such a mess.
Or like, wow, how did I survive that? Listen. There were probably some nights that I drove home that I'm blaming. Should not have maybe driven home, which is awful.
We do not condone drinking.
If you're listening, do not drink and drive. Thank you. But there were definitely, and I was living in Longmont, Colorado, which is like northern Colorado. I had to drive from tracks like 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
There was one time I took my sister Brienne out dancing, and that bitch threw up all in my car. But she threw up, listen, and this is the worst. So if you're drunk and you can think, don't do this. But she threw up on my window in the slit where your window comes up. That's so disgusting. No. When I got home, I was like, I didn't even know. I'm like, you bitch. Like, whatever. It was all on the outside of the car, on the inside, right in the window. Because I'm like, throw up out of the car as I'm driving. So anyway, I like get home and roll up the window on my little Honda Civic Coupe. And it literally just went the whole way. I could never get it off. It was
no,
burn the car.
Horrible.
But throw it all away. Throw it all away.
I did. I traded the car in. Did. I'm like,
I don't know. That smell has been there since I bought it.
One time I walked home from downtown Denver with my high heels not on my feet because my feet hurt. So I walked down Colfax without shoes on. Can't do that anymore. God. That's how you die. That's how you die.
You're gonna get something. Some kind of syphilis on the surface of
we got it. We're good for now. Man, that haunts me. That was like early 21, and I still think about that where I'm like, why would I do that?
What in God's name? That is just right when you were 20. Yeah. Yes. Because I met you when I was 21. And you're younger than me, right?
Just by yes.
Like a year.
Just by yes.
Just by yes. Oh my God, we could go off on so many subtle tangents. But,
we could. We crazed.
I know. We probably lost half of our listeners at this point, but
it's okay.
That's why we have Homotown Murders. So, real quick, if you have a Homotown murder, we would love to hear from you. So please send it into murder@homocidepodcast.com. Remember homocide, HOMO, because we want to hear from you, and then you could be on the show, like Maddie. Yay!
Yes,
we love her.
I'm fulfilled now.
Fulfilled. Well, we'll have you back. You just got to tell us another murder,
you just join. I have lists of actual episodes. I'm like, I've been planning this since you guys said you were going to do this podcast. I'm like, okay, well, for my old timey murder, I do this one, and for my new timey murder, I do that.
I love it,
Maddie. I think that we just need to have you like as a co-host. Occasionally.
We'll just have Homotown Murders with Maddie.
Shut the fuck up. That would actually be really good.
I would do it. I will quit my job right now. I will do whatever you want.
Oh my God, let us take some money from it first. Jesus. And then then we can all get paid. Done.
I'll do it for free.
I know, me too. That's what I'm doing right now. But anyway, no, Maddie, that was a great
thank you so much.
That was a fucked up one too. Ugh.
I'm always bringing it down.
Little babies, I know.
I know.
Anthony's a fucking tool bag.
Yeah, fuck me.
What a fuck.
Also, he's probably not a vegan anymore because I'm not sure that they support vegan diets.
Yeah, can you get vegan options?
Wait, there was that. Oh God, fuck! There was that guy from the insurrection, January 6th, which by the way was an insurrection. Okay, cool. When he did the insurrection, he was obviously arrested. It was the one with the bull horns.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck that guy.
That fucking guy. And he went into prison and he was like, I'm a vegan and I need to be accommodated. And I think that they did. Like, I think that they actually accommodated his dietary restriction.
Well, I hope they didn't accommodate Anthony, and I hope somebody shivved him.
With a
Toothbrush.
I don't know. Oh my god, toothbrush.
Gnawed down by
don't they
someone's
like
teeth.
on the ground? I don't know.
Yeah, the concrete wall. I watched too many things.
The concrete. Brandon, did you
Yes.
say their teeth?
I said with their own teeth. I mean, you never know.
It probably work.
Could be.
But I mean, the concrete makes more sense.
With just a pencil. That's what I would use. Just a pencil.
Like, I'd love to write a paper. Can I have a pencil?
I need that pen.
I mean, if you get somebody in the right spot, like, that shit's over.
I mean, I'm not hoping he died. I just hope it hurt.
I hope he gets what he deserves.
Yes.
Like, it's kind of like when I'm like, I hope you have the day that you deserve, right?
Yeah.
Which it's not on me to decide what that means. I'm hopeful, but
It's a pencil to the spleen. That's what it is.
so you're in pain and it changes your lifestyle, but you're not dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking the other day about somebody who pissed us off, and we were just coming up with all these different things. And what did I say?
Oh, it
I
was
said,
my cousin.
I hope. Yeah, I said I hope she has hemorrhoids and it never stopped bleeding.
And I hope that cousin.
I'd rather die.
I know.
That is a good one.
Yeah,
I love it. Listen, I have spent my life being kind of nice and being like, it's okay, whatever. And I'm like, fuck that hoe. Seriously, she's a fucking cunt. And if you're listening to it, because I know you will, you trolling bitch, go eat your own ass, you cunt. Done. Oh. Anyway.
You deserve a pencil to the spleen.
that's a different
new
kind of
threat. I'll be like, look,
listen, I know. Don't fuck with people.
I'm going to put a pencil in your spleen. Like, that's how this is going to go.
Yeah. I think the pencil in the spleen is fantastic. And I would like
to.
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to pencil your spleen.
I'm going to put a pencil right in your spleen.
I love how we're like making.
Just look, your next merch, this is a pen, but your next merch can just say, it's going to be a pencil. It can just say into your spleen.
Yeah. Okay, Brandon.
Let's do it.
Well, now it's recorded, so we have it. Look at this 30-minute episode that's now turned into an hour. I'm telling you, we've lost everyone. But
yes.
Anyway, Maddie, I loved having you on. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Yes, we will also have you on just a normal Homicide episode as well, because I think that you being able to join us just on that as a co-host would be fantastic. But if you have any other,
fly out to you guys.
Oh my god, honey,
take a weekend.
Let's do it.
You can come stay with us in New York. You can stay with us in Tampon.
And Tampa,
whatever you want to do. Yeah,
and then you can wreck us our stories.
Tampa's pretty fucking cool, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we have a whole. Well, now our house is done being remodeled, so yeah, you could just stay with us. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's great. We'll plan it off. We'll circle back.
We'll do something. Anyway, for everyone who's still listening, thank you.
Just like my mom.
And probably Brandon's parents.
Yes.
Which great. I was just really inappropriate, but you're welcome. I think that
they're used to it
at this point, right?
I think they're used to it by now.
Yeah. I did explain to them what a rim job was one time. Yeah. We went to a restaurant and they ordered some rim job drinks. And I was like, do y'all know what a rim job is? And they were like, yeah, like they put chocolate on the rim. And I was like, no. Let me tell you.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah. What's the?
I love them. It's my goal to expand their horizons in life to like all sorts of things. So I literally just said on here that I don't let people come in my beard. So
yeah, you're the best person to just get it out there. I mean, you really are.
I'm so awkward. It is what it is. But anyway, again, if you have a Homotown Murder, please send it to us at murder@homocidepodcast.com. And then also please subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us primarily on Spotify and Apple. And then also leave us a fucking review, please and thank you, on Apple. That's that. Any closing arguments, friends?
Any closing arguments?
No, thanks for having me. I love you guys.
This Hometown Murder is now adjourned.
This Hometown Murder is now adjourned. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.